want to make sure that I can come back and get
So
information.
recording pending. Okay, yeah, I'm recording now. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So the biggest thing I wanted to get into, I guess we can go right away, is just the big dream for the MHA program. Where do you see it right now? Where do you want it to be? Where do you see it in 5 years, 10 years, stuff like that?
So the dream that I have for the MHA program is to develop the healthcare leaders of the future that will transform the system
Hmm.
and make it a much more person-focused, integrated system of care designed around people, not around institutions.
Hmm. Okay, so would you say that right now it is more around institutions?
Yeah, it's very transactional.
Okay.
So we live in a very transactional business model.
Yeah.
And, what we need to do is we need to move towards a relational business model where we design and customize around people, where they're at and where they need. The other thing is our business model is an expert model that lives off of sickness and disease. And so we're only relevant to the people in a community that need us at any given time. That could be 50,
Yeah.
20%, right? The question is how do we become relevant to everybody in the community? How do we have a model that engages everyone in health and well-being? And so to
Yeah.
do that, we have to bridge traditional health care management with really community engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's unique about the MHA program at Loma Linda is that we are embedded in the School of Public Health, and we can really leverage our expertise and connection with the school, with public health, with healthcare management in a way
Mm-hmm.
that many schools can't do. And I think it creates this unique perspective. If you look at Adventist Health right now, Adventist Health is developing this well-being division. They're looking for people who can span this gap, into community well-being. And
Yeah.
we just don't train people to do that. There's
Mm-hmm.
very few people that have been trained and still organize and still understand the organized healthcare delivery system.
Mm-hmm.
So my vision all along, so I've seen this trend coming now for the last 6 years, and when Dr. Shah and I and Dr. McCleary first, conceptualized this, we wanted to create an ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
that would develop the leaders of the future, not the leaders of the past,
Mm.
and develop an ecosystem that both created intake from partnerships while giving students the opportunity to live out while they're learning real life experience in the systems that we're trying to create.
Mm-hmm.
And so developing those partnerships to provide opportunities, to provide case study material, to provide practicum that is relevant
Mm-hmm.
to the direction we want people to develop, and really make it easy for people to get advanced degrees in healthcare administration within their own
Mm-hmm.
employer structure. And so that partnership with organizations like Loma Linda, IHP, Adventist Health, kind of is important. The other piece is how do we connect with undergraduate schools,
Mm.
provide opportunities to enrich their programs. And so
Mm-hmm.
this fall, we're doing a case study competition
Mm.
that basically reaches out to undergraduate schools and really sets Loma Linda as a leader in healthcare administration as a way to not just build our own program, but enhance theirs, and then potentially allow that to be feeders of people that say, yeah, this is the kind of future I see for myself.
Yeah. That is very cool. I think Dr. Shah mentioned the K-Stock competition thing to me she was encouraging me to do it from up at PUC.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so, Harvard has built their whole MBA curriculum around case study, and
Hmm.
we had been involved in College Bowl for years and done poor to mediocre, I would say. And so part of our redesign of this program was to start incorporating both real world experience and case study competition,
Hmm.
and case study, incorporating case studies more effectively into curriculum. And so we've encouraged more of our students to be involved in competitions. We do debriefs now. We prep them, in terms of their understanding of how to process information
Hmm.
rapidly under pressure, And this year we beat USC and UCLA for the first time,
Wow.
and won the Southern California, you know, ACHE competition, and that was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
But
congratulations.
it goes back to how we've been developing,
Hmm.
to create the best students. And I would say, the graduating class is just unbelievably extraordinary. They've got jobs, they've got good direction, but they go into those jobs incredibly well prepared,
Hmm.
both from a leadership standpoint as well as a technical standpoint, to make an impact. Because our
Hmm.
vision is not just to have people fill jobs. Our vision is to create graduates that will make an impact wherever they go, and not accept things just the way they are, but look to make a better health system for this country.
Hmm.
Our system is too expensive. It doesn't work well for people. It does well for those that are in the business of healthcare. Um, but we're losing the public trust in the meantime.
Hmm.
And so I think, what we need to do is have people that just don't go slot in and accept the status quo, but continually will begin to impact and lead their organizations into a new future, that healthcare needs to evolve into.
Mm, wonderful. Um, as it is standing currently, where do you think the MHA program would be in 5 years or 10 years?
I think we will continue to evolve partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the MHA program will be both an online virtual learning environment with a global reach,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a vibrant on-campus environment, uh, for those that want that and are able to have that experience. I think we'll have cohorts in partnered employers,
Mm-hmm.
around the country. And I would hope we can begin reaching out beyond the boundaries of the country into the world, and then really beginning to place people, in these partnered employees, so
Mm-hmm.
employers. So what I would like to see the school, the MHA program do is have almost an embedded consultancy in it,
Mm-hmm.
that that people could engage faculty and students to solve complex problems in their own organizations. It
Mm-hmm.
would be a lot less expensive than hiring, some of the big consulting companies, but
Yeah.
actually be more effective and enhance the learning environment for students.
Yeah.
So that's a dream that I've had, because I think it's an opportunity to get the best faculty,
Yeah.
and it's also an opportunity to give students a way to get engaged in real life things.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple of students do practicum here, in our health system here in Northern California. And they've done outstanding work. In fact, they may develop an onboarding system for leaders that may be adopted by the whole company.
Mm.
how good their work is. And
Mm-hmm.
now when they go to look for jobs, how do they compete? Well, they can show real life product that they've created versus, oh, I just went to these classes and here's my degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's my vision, is that they will create an impact when they're in school and be able to be impactful when they leave.
Yeah, of course. So now that we have the vision and what we want the MHA program to look like, what steps do we need to take to get to that vision?
Well, let me step back just one thing, because one other
Okay.
thing I'd like, I haven't really addressed alumni.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I would like to see more formal mentoring relationships between alumni and graduates.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be valuable both in terms of professional growth and development and alumni's
Definitely.
connection back to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's the way you give back, but at the same time, you build a professional network.
Yeah.
Um, and so, I don't think we've been as intentional as we could in keeping alumni connected to what we're doing. And I think we need to be much more intentional about that.
Okay.
So, okay, so what was your question? What are the next steps we would need to take?
Yeah, what steps we need to take to get to that vision of the MHA program that you have?
Yeah, so I think one thing we can do is we need an alumni engagement program for what I just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be intentional about how we can do that. And that helps with philanthropy as well, right? Because by
Yes.
connecting them back to the school and making their life more fulfilled because of their involvement with the school can help both in terms of their energy and attention, but also it becomes something where energy and attention drives financial support
Mm-hmm.
because they buy into where that's going and they are part of it.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that needs to happen. I think we really need to build a more robust practicum.
Mm-hmm.
That when people come to this, not only do they know they will get really meaningful work in terms of practicum, but they can build, professional networks that they can eventually leverage to
Mm-hmm.
get jobs after their degree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and do good and interesting work in the meantime.
Yeah.
So I think building up that a much stronger practicum that's guided, that is meaningful. So for instance, I have a coordinator here who coordinates practicum. She meets with the
Mm-hmm.
students once a week, just as a touch base. I think they do more in depth. She gives them projects. She stays in touch with them because we see practicum as part of the learning development of the student. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
practicum sites, they put them off filing stuff, answering phones, uh,
Yeah.
giving them odd jobs to do, and nobody's really invested in making sure their practicum has a learning environment. And the practicum office really isn't set up to do that either. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I think creating guidelines for best practices for practicum partners of the expectations of how they can engage the students more effectively and at the same time make practicum more rewarding. So I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think continuing to build partnerships that are more formal with health systems that both create an opportunity for engagement of students and alumni, and
Mm-hmm.
at the same time um, become a uh, a recruitment ground for people who are wanting to get advanced degrees. You
Yeah.
know, to the point that we can use our curriculum as almost an in-house university. So that they can put their kind of their flavor on into the curriculum, but at the same time, they don't have to recreate all the work we've done to create this master's program.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a lot of work to be done with partner organizations and becoming more formal in what that looks like and how that could mean, and and how they're going to support it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would you say are some of the current strengths of the MHA program?
I think the faculty is a strength.
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way. Dr. Shah is a fantastic director, probably the best the program has had. And, and the faculty, I think, very much care about the students and their progress,
Yeah.
not just about teaching their class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that investment in that is showing up in a lot of ways. And, so I would say the strength, the faculty are a definite strength to this program. I
Mm-hmm.
think the other thing, like it's like my role as executive in residence. I'm not only do I teach, but I'm actually bringing, a real world
Yeah.
perspective in making sure that integrates into curriculum, making sure we build people who are building careers that are relevant to the outside community. And I'm available as a mentor and coach to students who wish to take advantage of that. And
Mm.
so I think that's a unique role that we have incorporated into the program
Mm-hmm.
to develop that. I think another strength, and we could probably improve on this, is the link with the School of Public Health. Um, and as we think about things like population health and community health, there is there's expertise in the School of Public Health we need to leverage to build the kinds of professionals with that knowledge and that perspective around the communities they serve.
Mm.
So I see those, and then I think being in Loma Linda,
Yeah.
and part of this is making sure we connect all the dots,
Mm-hmm.
cross partnership with the different schools, engaging people of different disciplines across the university, and then engaging with a health system,
Mm-hmm.
to provide practicum job opportunities as well as people who are working within Loma Linda who want to get master's degrees in a connected way.
Mm-hmm. Of
But
course.
I think there's enough job opportunities and recruitment needs at Loma Linda to give students a unique leg up um, to connecting with and potentially filling those kinds of roles. And so they're building that partnership, I think, is unique um, for our school because I think most don't come with that kind of a package.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Um, right now, something short term, what do you think could be improved to get to that dream like we're talking about?
Um, well, I think the things I mentioned,
Hmm.
what those next steps are.
Yeah.
I think formalizing those partnerships, building up practicum, yeah, I think that's what I just kind of talked through.
Okay. Would you give any of those a more short-term goal-orientated timeline, or are they all pretty uh,
Well, I think they're all things that can be started on right away.
okay.
Some of the partnerships, I mean, as we build partnerships, we need to find a few organizations who are
Yeah.
willing to engage in that. But once we do that, it gets the flywheel turning, and then others see, wow, there's a huge benefit to being a partner with this program.
Hmm.
And so my goal is we'd have multiple, health systems, employers, public health organizations, managed care organizations linked with our program because of the engagement they can get with with both students and potential graduates.
Hmm. Okay. Um, I have a question here. I feel like you've said this in a way that is different than what I wrote, but the challenges in the program. Are there any ways that we can fix them? And I feel like you've touched on this topic. Is there any other challenges you see within the MHA program that you think need to be addressed and fixed?
So I think we've made a lot of progress. I think making practicum more meaningful is a challenge, but can easily be fixed.
Yeah.
And we started discussion around that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Many of these things are things that can be done. I think the main problem right now with the program is finding and attracting students. And I don't know if that's as related to COVID, but the quality of our program, in my view, is without rival.
Mm-hmm.
And it's surprising to me that students are not flocking to it. And I think it
Yeah,
takes time for word to get out.
of
Um,
course. Yeah.
because I think you can build a great car, but until people start driving it, they aren't talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think we've come a huge distance. I think the other thing is getting our CAMI accreditation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
that is something I know Dr. Shaw is working on right now, and I think
Yeah.
it's important to get over a hump. I'm not sure how much, because we're already doing those things. I'm not sure how much it actually improves the product as much
Yeah.
as, you know, describes the improvements that's been made.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but, and then continue to attract good faculty. And quite frankly, attracting good students is as important as good faculty.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think we've done that. I think Dr. Shaw's done a good job of that. That just needs to continue. And then I think improving the relationship and expectations of partner organizations like Loma Linda.
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about trying to grow the student body and attracting, excuse me, good students within that. Is there any other thing um, that you think needs to be done within the student body development for this future?
Well, I think telling the story and figuring out how to get that out there that this is a unique program.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think just figuring out how to recruit and attract the right people
Yeah.
into the program.
Okay. And before I get to the last major topic, I wanted to ask. Now this is kind of a idealist question for you. What if you didn't necessarily need to meet a quota or have a certain goal, money, time, whatever wasn't necessarily creating any barriers for you? What do you think a really large donation would mean for the program? Something very big, a large donation.
That's probably a better question for Dr. Shaw, how she would deploy that.
Okay.
But I think what I would do is I would use that to fund um, practicum and outreach to nonprofit organizations
Hmm.
that need the expertise that can give students real world experience but can make a difference in the communities that
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to serve. So I would do outreach to nonprofits that may not have the wherewithal to hire something,
Yeah.
but we could really make a difference in. And Loma Linda has this relationship with Adventist Health International. And one thing and it's a way that Dr. Hart has tried to support what I'll call struggling hospitals or health systems around the world. And, he's tried to recruit board members and other things as part of that. But one thing we've never done is really try to figure out how do we deploy MHA students to go in and do projects in
Mm-hmm.
many of those organizations.
Yeah.
And so, most of those organizations are so limited in their administrative abilities that they could probably have a big impact. So I could see how donations could allow for the travel, the engagement, stipends for the projects in a way that
Hmm.
could have a huge impact around the world with organizations that just need that. And linking back to the faculty and the level of expertise there, along with the students and their learning process, I think that would be fabulous.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds amazing. That would be nice. Um, okay, back to the more realistic
Oh,
idea.
that's realistic.
Well, yes, that is very realistic. Um, what do you think a couple ballpark estimations would be for what you would need from donations to kind of achieve that?
Well, you can scale it depending on the donation you get. I think $1
Yeah,
million
yeah.
would be a great start.
Mhm.
But I think it could go beyond that.
Mhm.
But I think that kind of donation could get you really going, um, and could really begin to build that kind of a program. And I think once you can show what that impact is and have some real success stories, it could raise more money in the future.
Yeah. So you think around $1 million would be a good starting point?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, I think those are most of the questions I had for you. I do have a couple of other things. Dr. Shaw told me that you were the person to talk to about like student stories. Specifically, we have this emotional opening for this case document, and she told me you would be the person to ask to get that emotional opening story.
Who said that?
Dr. Shaw.
Oh, okay. So what are we meaning by an emotional opening?
So I'm currently writing the case doc, formatting it and everything. And I'm just trying to get at least a paragraph or something in there, something to really hook the donors on about the MHA program. Either like a testimony from one of the previous students, a current student, um, something that really grabs their attention and kind of potentially pull on their heartstrings to make them want to either keep reading or just go, you know what, this seems like a great program. I really want to help out and donate. So something to get them hooked into this document.
So is this story for donors or potential students?
It would be for donors, yes.
And it would be a specific story about somebody doing something or
Yeah,
about the vision that we want to create.
it's very kind of ambiguous, but it would be about something that someone has already done. Potentially a student doing, like you were talking about, a practicum somewhere, and they really made an impact because of the things that they learned at the program. Um, an alumni that has now gone on to do this and that because the MHA program allowed them to cultivate their skills or something like that. And if you don't have anything off the top of your head, I would be more than fine with um, maybe touching base with you later today, an email or something.
Yeah, so you could email me and I could work on something, but part of it, if I'm telling other people's story, it's really for them to tell.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, because I can think of a few. I'm sure Dr. Shaw can as well, of people who've really done well as within this program, and she's a little closer to them,
Okay.
than I am. But I can kind of give you the vision I laid out, that could
Hmm.
be inspirational.
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of telling stories of specific students, I think the story of the team that won the College Bowl and really, put our program on the map is a great story.
Okay.
And they came from different backgrounds. Zainab was, a student in the Randall Lewis Fellow. She was a Randall Lewis Fellow. Yeah, I mean they're an inspirational story.
Okay.
And I think what they found, if you were to interview those students, what they found in themselves in that process is really the essence of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could interview each of them and how they grew as individuals and,
Mm-hmm.
through in this program and through that experience, um, that would be a good story.
Okay, I think I will do that. Do you have contact information for that team, or
No,
should I
Dr.
ask Dr.
Dr.
Shah?
Shaw would, but
Okay.
Thomas Melton, Zainab, Ali, and I she'd know the third one. But no,
Okay.
those are good stories. And and I think they've come out of this program with way more confidence than they went in,
Mm-hmm.
and know the impact they can make. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely ask her about that, see if I can talk to them. Um, I'm looking through just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Um, Here, I don't know if you would know these, but the means of support, in what ways can donors give? Just besides cash or check or card. Is there any other avenues?
Um, yeah, I probably can't add to that. Can't add to that. They can donate their time,
Yeah. Okay.
and I would look to alumni really as the audience to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot we could do in that area. So they could donate their time to speak to students, to mentor students, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, from a philanthropy standpoint, you're also looking at financial
Yeah.
support.
Okay. Um, well, I have definitely asked you all of the questions that I wanted to ask. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, speak about, talk about?
No, I think that's good. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.